Hey, villagers, welcome to the Now More podcast, a masterclass in greatness. Today, we got a guest with us, Mrs. Keira Robinson. I cannot wait for you to hear more about Keira's journey as she transitioned from the beginning of the game, but now to the great that she is as an overseas professional basketball player. Lock in, grab your drink, grab your notepad, grab your pen. Let's take some notes. Let's grow together. See you soon. Let's grow together. Now more. Before we get to our featured drink today, you got to give us a 90-second. It can be less than 90 seconds. It got to be, but whatever you got. But you got to tell the people who you are.
All right, I'm Keira. I'm a professional basketball player. I've been overseas for 7 years. I graduated from VCU. And the secret to what I do is just work. It's no secret formula, but it's just work. And I'm a people's person. I love people. I love to make sure people are good.
So you're the teammate's teammate.
I'm the teammate's teammate.
Okay, the ultimate leader.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like because you're the teammate's teammate, that makes you as modest as possible. Which is great. I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
But I tell people when I talk about you. So we used to have, before we started remodeling, we had your picture on the wall. It's going back up on the wall, but and everybody would kind of, who's that? And, and obviously we talk about the work. I do believe that's a part of the identity and who you are. But I think that one of my most memorable things about you is when you came back. I don't know if you were just in between, like, I don't know if it was just a random visit or what, but we did a workout and you would not pay me. Like, all the way to the point where you were like dipping the money. You were like, my mom would never let me. Like,
I remember that.
And I remember that. The song and dance we play, I was like, bro, no.
Yeah.
But I think that it also, again, speaks to your high character, your high value and who you are, not just, again, on a basketball court, but as a human, you know what I mean? Yeah. But when people don't know, I'm like, she is the Keenan. She is the Keenan High School before Malaysia Fulwiley was the Keenan High School. And she's a little older. So I know this is before social media was what it was.
Yeah.
But you did what it was supposed to do. But so how do you feel about it? Is it a hard statement to ingest? Do you know what you really meant? And even when I hear you say pro basketball player, how do you feel saying that? Like, does the little girl in you is like, damn, that's crazy. I'm still, like, are you still accepting that? Or 7 years in, this is normal? What that look like?
Right now it's normal. I've come to terms, this is who I am. Like, this is the impact I can make, like, the position I'm in. So I accepted that. And, yeah, I love it. Okay. I love saying it. I love hearing myself saying it.
Okay. Folks, villagers, our official drink for the day is a ranch water. It's a little special, healthier for the pro, right? For the pro, it is a healthier alternative to a margarita. I don't know if that's exactly how they describe it, but that's what I use it for as I've been cutting in my actual healthier phase of life. It is tequila with sparkling water. It's supposed to be Topo Chico, and because it's got a special fizz to it. Saratoga, for the plug, is a good alternative with some lime juice right on top. So that's our feature for the day. But we gonna drink and kick back, and this is family. I think I'm most excited because this is family. Keira and I have known each other for 19 years, and we are catching up. But she is gonna share with us the how and the why, so that we can kind of come up with a game plan for the rest of our babies. So I'm super, super excited. We're gonna jump into this. I'm gonna let y'all get to know Keira. Maybe I'll find out something else about you that I didn't know.
Oh boy.
Throughout we're not no pressure. Throughout we're not really strangers game. So the concept of the game is each level it gets deeper.
Okay.
But what we'll do is, for time purposes, we gonna jump right into level 2. So that's, you see how like we got the level 2s in the wrong place?
Right. I'm like,
Okay,
huh?
yeah. So I'm gonna jump into level 2, and I'm gonna give it to you, and you find a level 2 as well. I mean, and then we'll go level 3. But I'll ask you one, you ask me one, then we'll go level 3, level 3. We'll skip the small talk. You know what I mean? We don't need the small talk. Yeah. All right. Level 2 is connection. If you have, when was the moment you realized you weren't invincible?
The moment I realized I wasn't invincible, had to be my freshman year of college. Yeah.
So it humbled you? What was that like? What did that look like?
Just that transition of, like, I was a hard worker, but that college level, like, you got to work. And coming in, it wasn't a point guard in front of me. So, like, I had, like, you know, the big sisters or whatever, but, like, the seniors. But it wasn't, like, we brought in a big freshman class. So everything you do, you been watched. It's nothing under the rug, like.
Because you are the standard now.
You are the standard. And it humbled me, like, going into November, still running my mile because I couldn't pass it. Like, season to start, you know what I mean? So, like, everything you do is just.
So did y'all not have a mile in high school?
No.
It's the no. Absolutely not. There's no standard.
No.
So I know on the boys' side, you got a Coach Norris. Did he have a mile? Was it just a difference in the boy-girl demographic?
Well, some of us ran cross country. Coach Norris made his kids run cross country.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a standard. It wasn't
Facts. Okay, because cross country is 3.1 miles and does not
does not
directly translate to the basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the mile time you had to get for college? You remember?
6:30.
Ooh, sheesh. Okay, because that's D1. That was the CAA at the time,
and they didn't care.
Okay.
He was going to keep running it until he passed it, whether it's mid-season or not.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Jump into level 2. And we'll get deeper. So we definitely going to come back to your VCU days, so I'll make it rock.
This is a reminder.
Okay.
It's reminding you to be more interested in understanding others than being understood.
No judgment. See? You see that? I'm telling you. I got to be. Okay. That is necessary. This says reflection. Okay. Level 3, reflection. What do you think would be the perfect gift for me?
I think something heartfelt for sure. Something like if I was to write a book about you.
Ooh, not a book.
Like if I was to write from another perspective.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a heartfelt gift, or something sentimental for sure. Something heartfelt.
I can agree. I can agree. I said the other day, I was like, man, you don't realize, you know, because it's a coming and going.
Yeah.
So you don't realize who you are until people share. So I definitely can agree. I can agree. All right, last one. Number 3.
All right. Is this 3? No, it's 2. I got these cards all messed up.
I'm telling you.
Okay. What am I most qualified to give advice about?
I think exactly. You know, when people be like, God not real, it is just a perfect segue.
Right.
Because you're sitting here about to give us all of the free game out here. But no, I think, and I think interestingly enough, but to go back even to your point, another thing that you say that stands out, and I don't know, I hope I shared this with you, but if I didn't, you know now. But something that you shared to me, I feel like I need to tell you. So I told you, I did say I've known Keira since I was 19. I mean, for 19 years now. She was, I think, 10 going on 11, some around there. and I'm 14, and I am being forced into basketball coaching. It is the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to hang out with my friends. I wanted to be a normal, which is crazy because it's like we really be begging our parents to be regular as hell. And right now, the last thing you want to be is regular as hell. So I guess I should be very grateful to my dad, who also was her basketball coach, and forced me to come to Keira's practice every damn Sunday. And that's where our original journey began. But as we opened Iconic Sport Performance and Keira's time at VCU, she circled back. And I was 23 when we opened. I don't know, but I think, yeah, it's about the same time. So I'm 23 when we opened. You 19 coming out of freshman year. But it wasn't until here in the last few years that you said to me, I think you DM'd me. And you was like, Ash, I've been all over the world and I ain't seen people do it like you doing it. And I was like,
I remember that.
I'm like, I'm from nowhere. I have not been all over the world. I've been in my hub, you know what I mean? And so I think I don't know that you know how much you reaffirm even me and the work that I'm doing, because I'm like, for every kid that comes from here that has the pro dreams, like you're one of few doing it and still doing it, and you ventured out, I'm sure, a lot further than anybody knew that you would. And I think that when you come back and you not just sow into a platform like this, but even sow into me and the support, even when he's like, let me help, man, let me send you something. I'm like, bro, like I don't like. There's a lot of different things, but I don't think you realize how much that means. So I think there are things like that for me that I can answer, but I think also from a village perspective, I know how great you are. So to return the love, because I've seen this for 19 years, I've been able to witness where you started, where you are now, and we, through the years, have kept in touch. And I think that you are very well versed on how to make someone great. And I don't. We've had different variables of mud, right? Like we've had different variables of mud, and I don't believe they all look the same. But I think in your own way, you got it out the mud and had to organically, even as you reference VCU, in a way, you kind of had to restart there too. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think consistently, you are someone who has been willing to do the work, and anybody that wants to get to where you are, not just in basketball, but in life, I think that you have the game plan, the guidebook to give them the DNA. But that's what we about to jump into. Since, I mean, look, that's what I mean. God is just, God, you know what I'm talking about? This is why you here, to get his advice. But all right, so let's go back. Let's take it back. The year was 2005. Okay. 2005. We probably at Dreer High School, I think, if I had to remember correctly.
Okay.
And you 10, 11. What are you thinking? And I don't know if you remember your first ever AAU practice altogether, but where are you at 10? What does that look like? When did you start playing basketball in general? When did you get serious about it? And then where are you at 10 at that point, if you can remember?
10 years old. So I think I started playing around 6, 7, but it wasn't organized. I think I played a little bit. Kinda? Yeah, okay. It wasn't organized, like with my brothers outside just playing. And I started playing with Coach Tony. But for the most part, from what I can remember, it was just in the mud with my brothers outside. That's how it started. Right. And I think that set the precedent, like, for the rest of my career, like not knowing it, but just being that physical, the competitiveness that drove me.
So when you started playing rec, did you play Greenview? Where'd you play? Do you know?
Trenton Park. I was at Trenton Park.
Which has got some toughness to it,
too.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Trenton Park is where, and Meadow Lake as well, a little bit. I played at Meadow Lake too. Yeah,
I tell the folks, when you go to Meadow Lake right now, I'm like, you don't take your kid to Meadow Lake unless you're ready to go to Meadow Lake. It's a different type of war at Meadow Lake.
Absolutely.
Let's go AAU. When you're 10 walking in, do you even realize how serious it's about to get? Because if you at Trenton Park, you at Meadow Lake, Like, do you know what where this is going at this point? Or are you just still hooping?
Absolutely not. And for me, I wasn't the most skilled. I wasn't the most talented, like at all, by far, you know. So, but for me, it's just like, it wasn't a culture shock, but it was more so like, I'm still a kid.
You're just out here. Yeah. And like, it was almost like somebody just took you to practice.
Right.
Okay. I do know, what I remember is not just that timeline at Dreer, but I remember Dreer, but transitioning. I don't know how we get to a Keenan, but we at Keenan. And I remember as I'm doing my work, you're the only other person in the gym extra too during that timeline. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it was scheduled. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know what plan. You know what I mean? Because I was in my own world for sure during that time. But I do remember you audibly being able to say, I'm not the most skilled and I need to get better. I was like, in my own world, but I would still like, damn, this kid here again? And then I just keep working. And then, she here again? And so I think you were the epitome of like stacking days.
Yeah. And see, for me, I don't remember that.
Yeah, listen, stacking days.
I don't remember that.
And you stacking, because there's a like, I remember being wowed by Masha's like handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember even certain parents being loud and audible about who their kids were and their name and the beating on the chest and all the things. But I think, again, I didn't really want to be there. So I wasn't really it. But it got to the point where I was like, man, she's stacking days. Like, I'm like, this is, and so by the time you get to Keenan and you are doing what you're doing, I don't know that I was surprised. So by the time you get to Keenan, like when you're at what point did it click? I know that you were okay with working, but at what point did it click like, I'm coming for everything and everybody and every record and championship trophies, and this is actually attainable? You know what I mean? Like, when did that connect?
I think when I got the offer from USC.
Okay.
And I was at their individual camp, like their elite camp, whatever. And
it's Dawn USC?
Dawn, yes.
Okay. But
they eventually, they took the offer away because other people signed. But still, for me, I'm just like,
that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So can you explain that to me? What does that mean? What does that look like? I'm not sure that our listeners are aware as to, I get an offer and it's taken away because someone beat me to it. What does that look like?
So time waits on no man. So, but again, as a kid, you don't know that. As a kid, you're just like excited about the opportunity. And she offered me on the spot, like literally at camp.
You remember how old you were?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. But I remember she offered me. And then a couple weeks later, she called me back and was like, it was a respectful phone call, and I appreciated it. But I was a little sad because I'm just like, dang, like it's like something was snatched away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So in my playing days, I got beat to the punch by multiple transfers. This is before the transfer portal. So I had multiple low D1 offers.
Yeah.
And in the low D1 offers, they of course want to get those Power 5 mid-majors to take those spots as quickly as they can. So I remember like a UNCW taking like a kid from Georgia. Stetson got another kid. And College of Charleston needed like bigs. Yeah. So they were very respectful in it. But I remember there were certain coaches like that, like UNCW honestly wouldn't even answer the phone. So like, no lie, I had a visit scheduled. Like, I'm about to go on my official visit, and I love the beach. I don't know if you know this. I love the beach. So I don't even know that I've officially said, but I was going to UNCW because I love the fucking beach. I was like, I'm about to be on the water. Like, this is cute. Like, this is cute up here. And as I'm calling to book the hotel and book the this and book the that, coaches doesn't answer. Like, ghosted. Before ghosted. So this is before transfer portal and before ghosted. I'm telling you. And I was like, man, what? Like, this is crazy. But I think the crazier part is I'm working exposure events at this time. So I'm still seeing these
The same.
So now you like dodging me. You like, but you know, God has His way. Because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting, very, very interesting space. Yeah. So do you, because of the Don ordeal, quickly commit to the next one? Do you overcommit?
No.
Okay. What's the next recruiting phase look like?
So then I started getting recruited by Winthrop, which in turn, the Winthrop coach went to VCU.
Okay.
So she was still recruiting me. I was getting recruited by other schools in between.
Okay.
UNC Charlotte. So UNC Charlotte and VCU were my final two.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
They were my final two, and I don't just jump on the next thing because Winthrop. I was like, I'm not bigger than Winthrop, but I know I can
do more.
I can do more than that. And so
VC was that one.
Yeah, and being that she went there and still was recruiting me, like, for me it was like, okay. But it was between UNC Charlotte and VCU. Okay.
So let's get back into the nitty gritty with your VCU freshman year. You talked about your 6:30 mile time.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the entire, like, hit me with, I walked on campus, right? So was Richmond a culture shock in general?
No.
Was being by yourself a culture shock? Were you excited about that?
I was excited about everything. I wanted to be away from home. I wasn't scared. I wasn't.
How do you think you got there though? Like, cause most kids are like kind of nervous about school. So how are you like, I can't wait? Like, was it like bushy tail? Like you were just excited?
I was excited, but also I wasn't afraid to go leave from what I knew. I wasn't afraid of that.
Okay.
Like,
So you were ready for the next thing
or what? But I wasn't.
Okay. So now as you get on campus, freshman year's happening. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
What did it read? Talk to me.
So again, we brought in a big freshman class. So within that freshman class, it was two of us, you know, at a point guard position. So walking into that, it's like they're my teammates, but you're not safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I believe your freshman year can make or break a lot of things. But not knowing that then, but again, I didn't pass my mile, so I'm in season running my mile. So again, I'm behind.
Yeah.
No coach is gonna start me. No coach is gonna look to play me if I can't do the team requirements.
Yeah.
So coming in, and that in itself was just like a little overwhelming because I'm just like, I'm competing, but I'm not competing because they my teammate, and not knowing that balance for real.
Yeah.
But I figured it out.
Okay.
I figured it out.
So freshman year, you adapt, make your mile time.
Yeah.
When does it get to the point where it's like, and when does it improve? What does that look like? What does sophomore year look like? What does junior year look like?
Okay.
And then tell the folks how you met me. Where do you come and I gotta go to ISP now? What does that look like?
So my freshman year, I had a phenomenal freshman year. I was like number 2 in the country in assists as a freshman. Thanks to Robin Parks for that, because all I had to do was pass her the ball, she made the shot. But freshman year was a breakout season. And we had a coaches change. So my coach that recruited me changed. So I panicked.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to get out of here. So I went, and I was completely enrolled in UNC Charlotte. So my second option before, I went there, and I was completely enrolled in the school. They put me on their website. I had almost a class schedule and everything.
So your team knows.
Yeah.
Coach knows.
Everybody knows. So I'm completely transferred out at this point.
Okay.
So it was like a rule then where you can go back to your home school. So I had to call this coach in the store. She's in the store, and she starts crying because I had to tell her, like, I'm going back to VCU.
What made you go back?
I don't know. I did not feel right. Something in me did not feel right to leave.
Okay. So the lady started crying.
Huh?
She started
in the store. And she's in the grocery. She's like, yeah, I'm in the grocery store. And then I had to tell her, and she's crying. So for me, I'm just,
ooh. Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm not mad at it though is because you gotta do what's best for the kid. They gonna do what's best for them. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
I respect it.
Yeah, but in the same breath, that sophomore season, I had a slump. Like I was mentally not there. My body was there.
Is it because of the change?
I don't know what it was, but I could not get into. I couldn't put the ball in the basket. Like, but I respect my coach because she kept playing me. You know, like she kept playing me.
Were your teammates receptive? Like, and you coming back and all the things? How was that?
Absolutely, yeah. They
it's love.
oh yeah, they
That's dope.
still to this day, like we all
Okay. That's
cool,
love.
close, like, but
It
I
took a
could not
minute to
get it
adjust.
right.
Okay.
And so that's when I had to make that call to ISP. And I put in a big summer that year, a really big summer lifting. We talked about nutrition as well.
Yeah.
And
it's the modesty. This man, you was in here for, we talking 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And was ball handling for an hour. I think at that point, I'm like, at that point, I wasn't trying to kill you, but there was no way you wasn't not going back who you needed to be on my watch.
Yeah.
I think we was just mixing stuff together to see if it tasted.
Yeah.
But all of it, from the muscle to the workouts, I mean, and it looked different. And I think, again, that was our, like, okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
So so you walk away with junior year, you go back, senior year, you go back with your poster spread.
Yeah, junior year, I got my groove at.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And my senior year, I didn't have the most points. I didn't have the all the accolades, but I was number 2 in, like, a lot of things, but
it wasn't about being
it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
And realizing that what I had could get me to what I wanted, like, just by being solid.
Yeah.
Like, I was playing a 4 my my senior year.
Really?
I started playing the 4.
Because you know all the positions. So from a and not just an IQ way, like,
yeah.
I'm picking, but it's serious, right? Like, you have to understand the full scope of the game.
Absolutely.
Overall, when you reference, I wasn't number 1 in these things, and I wasn't always this, and I was a facilitator, and I was whatever the team really needed me to be.
Absolutely.
That's a big change from Keenan, because you are the team at Keenan. Mm-hmm. What did it take mentally for you to make, like, how was it a mental adjustment, or did you already have an understanding that I just got, like, everybody's good in college? What was that like for you?
That transition. So for me in high school, I didn't feel like I was that guy. I didn't feel like I just feel like I was playing ball. I feel like I was making my teammates better. Yeah, I didn't feel like that. But when people talk to me, they're like, yeah, you were this, and I'm just like, I didn't feel that way.
Wow. So when Don come knocking, you wasn't even looking.
No.
I can appreciate that.
Not at all.
So you're working so diligently, stacking your days that they will come find you, is what you're saying. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But again, at that age, you don't know that.
Yeah.
But for me, I was blessed enough to have that instilled in me to where I just lay low, boss up. Like, really.
I respect that. So when we're talking now, as we're going at VCU and senior year, I'm the man, I'm consistent. The game, I'm assuming, is slowing down at that point. You're confident in who you are. Do you know you're going pro?
No.
What's that look like?
So agents start reaching out to me and start reaching out to my coach.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, like, this is for real. Like, I'm
opportunity.
In the moment type of person. So, like, this is what it was. So, like, when agents started reaching out, I'm like, okay, like, this is what I can do.
Okay.
This is what I can do. And I got an agent, and he put me in a position my first year overseas. So when I was at Keenan, and I had to, like, you know, people felt like I had to do this. But when I was overseas, that's when I felt like I have to do everything. Like, I have to be that person, because you American going overseas, like.
That's what I want. Is the rumor? Are the rumors true? Because we got the Monica version, right? Like on a Love and Basketball tip. But when you say an American going overseas, do you really have to perform? Is it at 20
Absolutely.
and 10? Like, are there numbers? Like, what is the standard for an American going overseas?
It's both.
Okay.
You gotta produce and you gotta win.
Okay.
It's a business transaction, literally. Okay. If you're not producing, it's cutthroat. Some places will give you more of an opportunity, but you gotta come ready.
When do you believe you learned the business, though? Was it while you was there, or
I learned the business?
When did you learn the business?
3 years in.
Overseas?
Yeah.
Whew, okay.
So for me, because, like, I was producing, I was doing what I needed to do, but then it started to get to the point where you have one bad game and people start looking at you funny, or
so okay, is it the folks in the city, or is it in the organization?
Everybody.
Ooh. So you walk into the grocery store.
It ain't that
okay.
cutthroat. It ain't like that.
I'm like, it's like that. Okay.
Yeah, but, like, I experienced it a lot when I was in Iceland. Like, you know, like, the board, like, you have a bad game and they just, like, they like when they once was, oh, good game, and then they try to duck and dodge. You know, it's really like that.
Okay. What do you believe in terms of our basis here in the Met, right?
Okay.
Because I believe in a way, AAU has its purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Especially in exposure, competitively, in the circuit that you were on, and so on and so forth. But what do you believe that they could do? How could we teach kids the business more? Or is this where Keira comes to teach what you like? You know what I mean? Like in truth, is there a way that we could have given you that before you got there 3 years in?
I think as a kid, no. Mm-hmm. It's no real way to teach that. You're not ready for that. Okay. I don't believe.
Mm-hmm. Do you think college should prepare you?
But I think it's the parents we need to prepare.
Ah, okay.
It's not the kids.
Okay.
Because we don't have enough parents. We have a lot of coaches. We don't have enough parents. If that makes sense.
As in into it. Like parents, are you saying parents just
want to be coaches?
Ah. But they're not actually coaches, and they're not actually parents. Okay, so what do you believe is the role for them separately? Mm-hmm. So what is a coach's role, and what is a parent's role when you emphasize
the coach's role? Let me start with the parents. The parents' role is to ensure that they have the right things to put them in position to be successful. So, for instance, my mom taught me about the clearinghouse.
Okay.
Things of that nature, like if we're talking about being prepared in the business world, knowing that it's cutthroat, like having that conversation, like, look, like it ain't gonna be fair. It ain't gonna be this, like, but what we have is those parents that, my kid can do this. It's no accountability. It's no responsibility. It's no any of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like the coach's role is as, if not more important than the parents, because they're put in a position where they have to deal with these different personalities, different kids of all areas into one team. Mm-hmm. So managing that in the right way, having that relationship with kids, having that guidance, and teaching them the game the right way.
Yeah.
Not just the X's and O's, but teaching them the game as we know it in a deeper level.
So do you believe the coaches who got it out the mud in their own way, right? Because we don't have a lot of coaches here, at least, that play collegiately or play professionally. Mm-hmm. What do you believe that they should be doing to learn? Because I'm like, there's so many parents coaching because we need coaches. Right?
Yep.
So if I'm a parent coaching, or even as a volunteer, like even somebody has nothing to do with the game, but I love the game, mm-hmm. With the kids, but I love the game, what do you believe would be something that they should do? Like how do they learn the beyond the X's and O's and all of the other things that coaches need that you referenced?
Relationship building, like having that relationship. It's just about people at the end of the day. It's about understanding people, because if you can like have a relationship with somebody, like you can kind of you can connect in a way like you don't have to know anything about basketball
to get them.
You can know the basic, bare minimum about basketball. Yeah, but if you have a connection, this kid's gonna go out and do whatever you ask him to do.
That's fair. That is fair. So you think that relational intelligence and kind of like the emotional maturity to be able to actually deal with people makes this whole thing bigger than basketball?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Okay. So you were have you only been in Iceland this whole time?
I've been in Iceland for the last 2.5 years.
Okay. Where were you prior to?
Prior to that, I was in Spain.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was in Iceland again for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then Spain and Argentina.
Okay. You got a favorite so far?
They all different.
Yeah.
They're all different. And I take something away from all of them. So, but Iceland, it got a big part of me because it has a big part of my career. Yeah. Like I spent a big part of my career there. Mm-hmm. So that probably has a special place for sure.
So what I most admire about you so far is the more than an athlete version that I'm learning about in the last coming year or so. And I'm seeing you coach and train overseas. How do you get into that? Is that a common thing for not I guess just players in general? What does that look like?
So I started, my first time coaching was in Iceland my first year. Okay. And I was coaching 9th and 10th grade girls. Mm-hmm. And it's not normal for, like, some people go over there and coach just to make some extra money, but I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have on me as much as I had on them.
Okay. Elaborate on that. What that look like?
So I knew the game, but I didn't know that it would allow me to inspire those kids, those girls in the way that it did.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is there were instances where they would come to me with things that, you know, they were battling that had nothing to do with basketball. Like, you know, if they were getting bullied or whatever. And I'm like, this is like as therapeutic for these girls, you know what I'm saying? And like giving them that space to just be like, you know, was important. Like, you know, and
do you feel like you had coaches like that growing up?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And do you think it's because most of your coaches were male?
Yeah.
Like as in we need more females in space?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a different type of understanding.
1,000%. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're looking at, and you go back to parents and coaches and so on and so forth, is this a South Cat kind of American perspective, or this is I done been all over the world and parents and coaches got problems? What does that look like?
So it's a universal thing. It ain't just here. It's definitely a universal thing.
Okay.
And being that Iceland was the last place I was coaching, it's an entitlement all over that it's just, this game don't owe you nothing.
Yeah.
Life
don't. As in basketball.
Owes you nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a universal thing.
That is, it's almost disheartening to hear, but simultaneously it's just like, okay, now that we know, right? Like, what do you believe that the game has the ability to truly transform lives in a way? Like, if the game is done right, do you think you can be whoever you want to be?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
How grave is it? Like, and just transparently, and being from the Met, and you and I growing up here, and we know a lot of the same people and a lot of the same things. What I struggle with is this narrative of how bad the Met is.
Okay.
And then I also hear you saying the world is like this, right? And we even see on social media, right? All these people fighting referees and this and that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think sometimes what I struggle with is these folks from here that critique it, but you leave. And you come back, right? Like every single person wants to be attached to this space. And this was even, I can't just solely state this was even before the Gamecocks started winning, but I think everyone comes home because there's still something about it that brings you back.
Yeah.
But there are folks locally who are, whether they're homegrown or transplanted in some capacity, who really have what it takes. But I find, and just maybe in my network, I'm like, I see a lot more critiquing than serving. And it's like, in a way, I'm like why do you feel like we're not coming back? Is there not really an opportunity? Are voices not being heard?
Yeah, I really believe his voice is not being heard.
Okay.
I feel like it's like beating a dead horse, because it's just like, let me go to somebody who's going to listen. Like, I feel like for me, like I was in the stage where I'm just like if you're not going to listen, I'm not everybody's coach. I'm not everybody's person,
like
because
your time's valuable.
Absolutely. And I had to realize that. So maybe that's the reason, because it's just like why am I going to do this for a parent and a kid that don't want to listen? And I got this kid right here that's maybe not as good, but they're receptive, they're coachable, and that's what separates kids.
How does it make you feel when yourself, other professionals, other high-level collegiate athletes, and folks that have like really walked the walk are not valued, but kind of that random guy who's the best salesman can get 1,000 kids in the gym and kind of smooths the parents? And do you feel like there's a lack of integrity in that from parents, from the guy or lady themselves who didn't really do it?
I feel like it's just
ignorance?
That's just how it is. It's just how it is, especially with social media. Like, if you get that one blow up, you may not know what you're talking about, but that's just what people gonna gravitate towards.
But it's dangerous
because it's the hype. It's very dangerous.
Okay.
But then you have those people that know what they talking about, but they don't have the biggest audience.
Yeah. So what do you believe are the dangers that come of that in and outside of basketball? Like the wrong folks being in front of children in general.
It's a hindrance altogether. It's a big lack of just not knowing, because you're not going to be prepared for the next level and the level after that. It's easy to go on YouTube and, put some drills together. But to understand, again, people to understand the real ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that people who are doing it now can't get there. Like,
right, but it's got to be a want to.
Yeah, it got to be a want to. Go to the clinics, go to talk, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
But it's just so many egotistical.
Because you already making the money. I'm already making the money, so
so I got it.
So do you believe it is on the consumer then? Like, is it mom who needs to do her research before she pays the person?
Absolutely.
Or is it coach that should have more integrity?
It's both. It's both.
Okay.
This, like you said, village. We all need to take responsibility and accountability to what we teaching these kids, because if not, then.
Where do you believe a mom begins? So mom your mom taught you about the clearinghouse. That is not normal. I want you, big up to your mama, because that is not normal, okay? Yeah. So what do you believe a mom that knows nothing about the game, where does she go and who does she go to? How does she even begin to get this information?
It's... In today's world, everything is so accessible. Everything. So there's no reason why, if your child is invested in something, that you shouldn't be as well. There's no reason.
And not just your money.
It's no reason for that. So we can start here. If you're paying a trainer hundreds of dollars a month, but you don't see any results in the game, okay, start there.
Yeah.
Talk to the trainer and be like, pay attention. Talk to the trainer. I see he's not doing this. You don't have to know anything about the game. I see he's not happy. I see this. And it's understanding your kid too. You know your kid better than anybody else.
I was just about to say, that sounds like you got to pay attention to your kid.
You know your kid better than anybody else.
Oh, man. Okay. This is no heat, no smoke, no pressure. Kind of. Not really. At the Now More Pod, what we always do is we make sure that we wrap up with a last question of sorts. What do you believe that you can do starting today to push the village forward? And when I say village, I don't literally mean my folks or my people, but if you're going to change the world, it starts with your world. You know what I mean? So what do you believe that you can do today to literally do more than what you were even already doing? Because you was out here. So what's next?
I think next is not just talking about it, but being about it. Put myself in that position where I'm surrounded by people who, like you, who have that audience, and coming in and also asserting myself and what I know. And every kid I come in contact with, leaving them a piece of me. Because I believe my ceiling is your floor. And if I can give you everything I got and you just keep learning, then I got to be okay with that.
Yeah. But you're looking for the folks who are willing to listen and be receptive, as you were saying before. That's imperative?
Yeah, I'm not wasting my time.
Bars.
I'm not wasting my time.
Bars. So talk to me. What do you feel like is next to you? What are the next goals? And you ain't got to tell me if you're going back to Iceland, but do you have, how much longer are you in it? What's next? Where you going? How can the people find you? How can they stay connected? Are we able to even watch the games online? What that look like? They want to find out more about you.
Well, right now I'm in transition. I don't know where I'm going next. But I am still going to play. My body feels good, so I'm going to continue playing. And, find me in a country soon. But my Instagram is Keira_Robinson 34.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Every episode, you already know I want to leave you with a quote. Our fave from Brene Brown. Our imperfections are what connect us to each other and to our humanity. Our vulnerabilities are not weaknesses. They are powerful reminders to keep our hearts and minds open to the reality that we're all in this together. If any part of this episode touched you, like, subscribe, leave a comment, lock in, and definitely follow my dog online. Let's make sure that we show her mad love as she's representing the Met, wherever she's off to next. But let's make sure that we are locked in and always doing more. See you next time.